Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for another interview with one of my peers. I'm joined today by Raheel Khan. He's Divisional Head of Safety for Sendan International. So good morning, Raheel. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Matt. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. So Raheel, perhaps you could just take us through your bio today. What led you to become the head of safety for such a large organization?
When I started first, it was back in 2004. And during my first job in UAE, in Dubai, I was assigned first there as at the Dubai cargo terminal. And my job already involved health and safety. So like, it's more like health and safety chose me rather than I choosing health and safety.
I often find this, yeah.
First job, yeah, it was my first job in UAE. And from that point onwards, like they gave us initially some trainings on health and safety. It was not a full-time job, but most of the portion of my job already had health and safety responsibilities to it. So they gave us trainings on fire safety. They gave us training on reporting. They gave us trainings on first aid, BLS, many administrative part of it. And that was the first time when I really knew about health and safety as a profession.
What was your core role when you were working at the Dubai cargo terminal, I think you said?
We were there as part of the security team. Health, safety, and security all together.
The question which comes up time and time again, how do I get my start in health and safety? You were doing something associated, but not a pure health and safety role when you first...
Not pure health and safety, exactly. Yeah. Once my job in Dubai was over, once my assignment was over, I came back to Pakistan. And in Pakistan, I was very fortunate enough that I got selected for a full-time health and safety role, mainly due to my previous experience in Dubai, because I already had some exposure to health and safety. And I started working full-time in health and safety. And from that point itself, I almost decided that this is the field for me. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I literally fell in love with my field. And from that point, I decided that I have to gain more knowledge. I have to have more understanding, and I have to enhance my knowledge in health and safety. So I enrolled in my first health and safety qualification from that time. And from that point, I never looked back. I went on, I did a couple of projects in Pakistan, and then I came to Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, I started with Sendan. That was at that time a smaller organization. And the good thing about working with small organizations is like you really have the opportunity to grow, and to do things and to prove yourself and to implement new things. So from that point, when I started working with Sendan, initially I joined as an EHS advisor, and then to the manager, and then from the manager to the corporate EHS manager. And it's been like more than a decade now.
Wow.
Working with Sendan. So this is my story.
How many employees do you have at Sendan now? You've gone from, well, still not a bad sized company at 300 to 400 staff. How many employees do you have now? Now you've got your international remit.
In Sendan right now, we have 4,000 employees. As per the local requirements, we need to have for every 50 employees, you need to keep one safety officer. Sometimes the requirement can even be like 20 direct workforce. You have to have one safety officer covering them. So at a time, like we have 100, 150, 120 EHS staff. I first got my own NEBOSH certification back in 2010. And from that point, I understood the importance of such qualification. I was very satisfied with the knowledge I gained from NEBOSH. It took us few years, but yeah, then we made a decision that now NEBOSH is going to be the minimum qualification requirement for all our EHS staff that are working with us here in Sendan. And we prepared a plan for them. And now, while I'm talking to you, like almost all our EHS staff, not just EHS staff, even some of our execution staff, they are having health and safety qualification, mainly NEBOSH. And NEBOSH has really helped us all through this time, like to improve the competency of Sendan as an organization, the health and safety competency of the organization as a whole.
Something that we're reading a lot more in the press is that technical knowledge is absolutely essential, of course it is. But then there's those other skills that we need as practitioners about how to coach, how to mentor, how to demonstrate different types of management skills, leadership skills, all these different facets that come with the role of being a health and safety professional. Did you do any other qualifications as well in terms of upskilling your soft skills, or is it just something that you've just learned as you've taken on more and more responsibility?
Like I can tell you tons of qualifications that I have got. These include not just technical qualification, but let's suppose if I'm coming to the management level, then within the organization, we have a process where we have other trainings like leadership related training, finance related training, communication, budgeting, and all this thing. You have to go through all this process before you can be appointed for any position.
We should probably say, actually, do you want to just quickly tell us what Sendan International role is, and what field they work in?
We are serving the oil and gas market in the kingdom. Wherever you have all these plants for oil and gas plants are there, we are doing the construction part as well as we are doing the engineering, procurement, and construction. We call it EPC. So we are now an EPC for construction, and at the same time, we are also carrying out maintenance jobs. So it's like a multi-dimensional kind of business, but yeah, the main focus is on EPC business is our main focus area.
I've spoken to you a few times in the past, Raheel. You've always got loads of energy. You're very, very positive about the profession, the health and safety profession, and your role. Which parts of the role do you love, and which parts of the role do you find the most challenging?
I really enjoy giving training and influencing the decision makers, carrying out risk assessment, recruiting my team, preparing development plans for my team back that time. But the thing that really fascinated me was during the time when I started working as a corporate EHS head. Our job involves working with different clients. So at a time, I will be working with let's say 20 different projects. We'll be working on them, and you will be dealing with the clients from all around the globe, all around the geographic location. So at a time, let's say you will be working with McDermott, you will be working with Dow, you will be working with Aramco, with Qatar Petroleum, you'll just name it, like ABB, Mitsubishi, you name it. And we as a contractor, we will come to know about their health and safety management systems. We will comb through all that information. I will comb through it, and I will try to take the best parts and I will implement locally, like within my organization, I'll implement them. And I started developing like a global perspective on health and safety with that exposure. It was a very unique thing like we were doing, that at a time you're working with all these people and you're developing a very different skill. And this makes me really feel proud when I see that it has made some difference. It has made difference. Like we have clocked more than 100 million man hours. And in this 100 million man hours in the past 10 years, nobody lost his limb, nobody lost his life. What else can a safety professional hope for? What else can they look for? Yeah.
So Raheel, I can see how positive you are about the role. That's always come out in every conversation we've had. But I did ask you a moment ago about some of the challenges of being a SHE professional as well, and you skillfully avoided answering that question. Do you consider there to be any challenges?
We always face challenges. Every time there is a new guideline is there, every time you have a new client, every time you have a new procedure coming up. And like the biggest challenge is you have clients who are coming from different geographic locations and they're coming up with their own set of rules. And we understand that at the base, all these rules are the same, all the procedure is the same. And myself, along with my team, with our collective, you can say effort, we try to clarify with the clients, so this sometimes becomes a challenge. Like at a time when you're working with one of your client, that is coming, let's say, from USA and another client coming from China. So both of them are having different understanding and different set of rules, but at the base, health and safety is the same. So yeah.
A lot of challenges have already been faced by other people as well. And it always surprises me that, and certainly this is something I think that's important for new entrants into the profession, is that they understand that people are willing to share their knowledge, their understanding. There's very few challenges that have not already been overcome by somebody else within our field. And you only need to go on some of the forums or the NEBOSH alumni or whatever and say, hey, I'm being met with this challenge, and people will suggest some solutions. So the last question, and I asked you to maybe give a little bit of thought to this before we spoke, was around what sort of 3 tips would you give to an aspiring health and safety professional?
What I would say is, to the health and safety professionals who are new in the field or who want to progress in the field, is the core of health and safety. The core part of it is just like positively changing the attitude and enhancing the organization safety behavior. This is the biggest challenge in health and safety professionals having. You can do the hazard assessment and you can carry out risk assessments and you can put the controls in there. But truly, to implement health and safety into an organization culture, truly changing the organization health and safety culture, it is one of the things that health and safety professionals should be aspiring for, wherever they've been assigned. And at the core of all this lies the relationship, the trust that you build within your crews, within your workforce. A safety professional, he needs to keep communicating with the people, keep hitting the field, keep going to the shop floor. And that is where you can develop that trustful relationship. It's very easy for someone to draft an email, write a set of rules, and then communicate it all around. But when you see and go to the ground, you see it has not been implemented. The second tip I would like to share is stay up to date with the current knowledge, the new technologies, the way new work methods are coming. The technology is not just changing the work methods, but it is literally disrupting the work methods. The guy who was doing the way we were doing drilling, or let's say welding or lifting 10 years back or 20 years back, is changed now. It's not the same. So you have to understand the changes in technologies, the work practices, the way it is, the way it works. Rather than hibernation, it should be innovation. Innovation is the thing you should be focusing on. The third tip I would like to talk about is spend some time on the learning, not just the technical part of it, but even the soft skills, how to communicate with people, how to talk to someone, how to have an argument, okay, how to have a discussion with someone. This is very, very important for a health and safety professional, because once you're in the field and you're talking to people, this plays a very important role. So I guess that's all.
Really well said. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time today, Raheel, and I wish you and all your colleagues at Sendan International all the very best. And thank you for your time today, and I hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you. Thanks a lot.